Hello everybody, Andrew Casey from Hypersanity Books. Today we'll be talking about Batman the Killing Joke between graphic novel and film. Mostly into the film because of the prologue. However, I do want to also say there is a younger audience within this channel, so please keep comments clean. Most subject matter I'll be toning it down for this review, though I will also say this movie is rated R in most countries, so if you are younger, please click out now. Number 10. Prologue is important for perspective. There is a lot of complaining about the prologue being added into the story because it's not from the main source material. However, the main source material, it wouldn't have been long enough to be a feature-length movie, and a lot of people were asking for this movie to be made. With this prologue, it does touch on a lot of very heavy subject matter, but it's the comparison of the prologue and Act 1, if you're breaking it down that way with the story, to the events that are unfolding with Batgirl from her perspective. Then it gets into the killing joke in Act 2.
You haven't been taken to the edge yet.
The edge of what?
The abyss. The place where you don't care anymore. Where all hope dies.
Number 9. Character added for the prologue.
Alone at last.
He is a modern-day criminal. He is into technology. He has his own objective and goal within the criminal family business, because that's how this particular organised crime is working, disguised as a business. Now, he also shows a lot of different narcissistic and sociopathic traits, and there is a big part of the story that's so important, and people do overlook this. The big part is he's calling out Batgirl in a very sick way, and the primary number one thing that she should do is remove herself off the case immediately because of the way he's calling her out. Batgirl to Barbara Gordon.
Stop it! Fuck! Piece of garbage! You ruined everything!
With this character, it is established she played into the game too much. She went on the hunt. Yes, she helped resolve the problem, captured the guy, beat him to a pulp, and with that she had that remorseful period of going too far with what she was doing. Now, it can be argued, but with the other character, he was still calling her out the way he was, so he would just go to prison, come back out, and repeat the behaviour. This type of stalker that he is extremely unhealthy, but the fact that he's called her out the way he has, as mentioned, she should have removed herself. Now, I touch on this in the separators relationship in my other video, 4 types of relationships. The primary thing that she should have done is remove herself. The primary thing that Bruce Wayne / Batman does is have a separators relationship with people because of the type of work that he's doing. Then there is the other part of having different emotional attachments. Number 7. Copycat villains.
Don't let me find you out here again.
We're trying to help you.
I don't need help.
Not my diagnosis.
One of the other concerns that was brought up within The Dark Knight was the copycats copying what Batman was doing. And the same goes for the Joker with this graphic novel. When you look at Harvey Dent's character, the sane side of his mental health is still intact, but the insane side has been drawn to the Joker and influenced quite heavily. With the inmate who is posing as the Joker, the influence is there within the story. This is part of some of the continuity within the Batman stories, though trying to bring it back to the killing joke. You can see how the Joker does have influence over other people's mental health.
Perhaps you'll kill me. Perhaps I'll kill you. Perhaps sooner. Perhaps later.
Number 6. First origin story.
You said O. Is an O so you didn't get the job. Is an O, I should have known. Is an O, so how are we going to feed our baby?
This is the first time the Joker is humanized. Now, all Joker interpretations go back to this source material, and that's something I do find interesting. The graphic novel Batman the Killing Joke, all different adaptations all come back to this graphic novel. And if you watch the film, read the graphic novel, and compare it to a lot of the films, you will see a lot of interesting minor subplots, but comparisons. One thing I do want to make clear with this origin story that I also find interesting, compared to the villain at the beginning of the film. Now, one thing with the Joker, he doesn't have a significant name because at this point he's not a significant person. He also hasn't asked for much of society. That is one of the common traits compared to the modern day criminal that's looking at having it all. This is someone who just wants to get set up in a decent neighborhood, take his pregnant wife somewhere safe, somewhere better to live, financially provide within a reasonable means, and he's failing. He has so many hardships in life to constantly fail.
For crying out loud, there are girls on the street who earn that in a weekend without having to tell a single joke or blow a punchline.
Number 5, Predator Stalker. I talked about different types of stalkers in my other video, how to write stalkers. With the Joker, he is a predator stalker. Now, he may have henchmen helping him with what his objective is, though he puts himself in harm's way as well. That's one of the other differences with a predator stalker. There are certain people who are predators out there, and they don't care about any sort of authority to respect boundaries. Now, the other thing with the Joker, I also want to make clear with this, there are a lot of people who review this and feel sorry for him because of his mental breakdown. Now, this is also justifying the torture that comes ahead. It's justifying shooting someone in the spine and they're being paralyzed. There is a lot of things that people who are reviewing this are seeing things in a very, very insane way. And I find that extremely concerning. With this other story, another part I want to really make clear with Barbara Gordon. Now, with her character, there's this bit of dialogue within the graphic novel. Now, another part I want to make very clear here. The Joker knew her as a child and has stalked her. So that's another extreme point of view that people are overlooking with this story.
You remember?
What I remember is you describing his white face and green hair. I was just a kid. Scared the hell out of me.
Number 4, Inhumane.
I remember.
Barbara, take it easy. It's okay.
No, it's not okay. He said he wanted to prove a point. Said Dad was top of the bill. What's he gonna do? What's he gonna do to my father?
Barbara Gordon is confirming that, and you can see that she is extremely afraid because she's worried about her father. That's one part of the story. It was also confirmed that she was stripped naked and photos were taken of her. That is, just really gross. Now, Jim Gordon, he gets stripped naked. He gets objectified in front of other people. And then there's other bits of dialogue. Now, he is also going through with that confusion of everything going on. Though with this mixed level of different feelings, he too has the concerns, not knowing what's happened to his daughter. So that is one of the dynamics of the story, where they're both feeling for each other with that family bond. Because the relationship that they both have, as much as there's that mystery of her being Batgirl and so forth, the relationship between father and daughter is quite strong within this story, which also makes it very impactful.
Close the door on all those dreadful things that happened. You can lock them away forever.
Number 3, One Bad Day. One bad day can make you react to something to not the way you would normally react out of character. With pushing these boundaries, yes, it is confirming that the Joker had something bad happen to him. He was so pushed financially into dire financial straits, getting involved with the mob, lost his wife and unborn child to a freak accident, and then it's pushing him to work in with the mob, otherwise he's going to be killed. this leads to the story unfolding with one tragedy after another. And you can see within this particular scene, this was also used from the graphic novel, and then Tim Burton took this into the 1989 movie Batman. Though there is a very big difference between the two characters, and that's what I was also saying, is a lot of different subplots, also certain characterization of the Joker. All Jokers come from this main source material. So there is a scene where Batman is hunting down other criminals to find out where the Joker's hiding. With this was heavily inspired from The Dark Knight. You can see some of the comparisons. I also forgot to mention there was the other scene where Batman's looking up history of the Joker, and it showed a lot of different photos in the movie, not in the graphic novel. It also showed one picture being Heath Ledger's Joker. So there were different... It's different how the story and graphic novel, it can both work well. It's the Kangaroo Court, where it's comparing Batman to being a lawbreaker, the same as the Joker. And that is a reality. By all policies, Batman should be arrested for what he's doing. And then there's the other part. There are different societal issues on how do you deal with this type of predator. And that is one of the facts. He is a predator. Now, we do hear of different types of mental illness and different criminal offences where people do finish their time in jail and then they get transferred to a mental hospital so they don't have contact to the outside world. That is what they're trying to do with the Joker. Keep him contained compared to what crime is he going to commit next.
Let's call it line of work.
Criminals.
Yeah. We may be scared of you. We're terrified of him.
Number 1. My concerns to most reviews. Now, I do want to say this clear. I love the movie. I love the graphic novel. I do love a lot of different reviews that I have seen over the years about this, though there is still an underlying point I do see in most reviews about The Killing Joke. And the big point that is missed is that people still empathise for the Joker. And yes, you can for the past Joker. You can certainly empathise for him. But there is another point. He's still in the present moment and future moments playing games. And this is one of the big concerns with it. There are other points within the ending that I do find interesting. He says, with his mental breakdown, he remembers his story one way, he remembers it another way. If he had a beginning, it would be multiple choice. The ending is multiple choice. There are so many things that you can learn between the movie and the graphic novel comparisons. One of the big things that the Joker is doing that he shouldn't be doing is he's actually reliving the trauma. He's recreating the story of what happened to him time and time again and trying to get other people to see that trauma, going about it the wrong way. But there's still that intention for the harm he is committing on others. Now, the Joker is not insane at all, and hear me out on this one. You have insanity, sanity, and then hypersanity. He has actually reached that other level, and most professionals do reference the Joker when it does come to hypersanity.